Hey, it's Chris here, and today we are chatting bass flies. It's no wonder that bass are North America's most popular sport fish. They are everywhere. They eat all kinds of different things. They fight well. They are a terrific game fish. One of the things that I think is most interesting about bass is that they have a really varied diet, kind of in the same way that trout do, which I think makes both species just awesome to fish for. Because if you look at a bass, one minute it'll be eating crayfish, then it'll be eating minnows, then it'll be eating leeches and bugs and everything in between. They're really opportunistic fish, and they live in a really wide range of places too, from really shallow, weedy areas out to deep water, 30 feet of water, open Lake Erie sort of scenarios where, no matter what kind of environment that you like fishing, whether it's rivers or lakes, whether it's northern lakes, southern lakes, you're going to have some opportunities to fish for these fish. And you can do it on a wide range of gear as well, so what you have will probably work for one of those scenarios, whether it's a 5-weight trout setup that you're going to take out or a 9-weight saltwater setup. Both are actually totally applicable for bass fishing. So very fun fish to fish for, but understandably we get asked a lot, what do you fish for bass? And because of that, the answer is actually pretty varied. But we're going to try and narrow it down today. We've got a bunch of bass flies in front of us. I'm going to show you the top 5 that I really like to fish for all kinds of different waters. So starting off, we're going to look at everyone's favorite way to fish for bass is topwaters. So topwaters being some kind of a floating fly. A lot of people think about poppers, but there are other kinds too. And I'm actually going to throw 2 in the mix that are not poppers that I like even better. So the first thing here is a wedge head. This is a diver. This is going to have a similar effect as a popper. It's going to push some water off this face, cause a bit of a splash, but it's not going to be quite as loud as a popper. It's going to give you a little bit more of a subdued sort of dip, little splash. And this is a great one. Sometimes poppers, if they're really loud and obtrusive, will spook fish. This is a really nice bite-sized fly. Almost has more of a bait fish profile to it, like a dying bait fish on the surface, and bass absolutely love these. This is a huge confidence fly for me, definitely one that I reach for quite often. And then the other topwater that I mentioned, this is a soft chew from Rio, also known as Mr. Wiggly. These have become incredibly popular and for great reason, especially for smallmouth, but definitely largemouth too. This is a really good calm water bass fly. So if you're out there and you're fishing a fairly slow section of river, or you're fishing and it's pretty glassy on a lake, throwing these around, you've heard us talk about them before, but they are basically just a big insect or something that fell onto the surface of the water. And where, again, something even as subdued as a diver might spook those fish in those calm conditions. Something like this is just really natural, really easy for them to take a whack at. They come up and they actually rise to these almost like trout dry flies. So just nice little sips, even big fish. So very handy one to have in the box, and very easy to cast on a light rod as well, which is great. And then look in subsurface. And subsurface, I think of 3 main food sources for bass. So you've got bait fish, you've got crayfish, you've got leeches. So looking at bait fish to start, I mean, there's a lot of bait fish that you could throw into the mix here, but I think it would be a mistake not to have the clouser minnow in here. One of the most old school, universal kind of bass flies out there, but it really still holds its own just as a really great fly. Sinks well. It's great in rivers and lakes alike. The chartreuse and white, one of my all-time favorites, but of course match it to your situations. Lots of colors that you can find those in. For a crayfish are a hugely important food source for bass no matter where you go. Again, lots of really great flies. I tend to avoid flies that have really big pincher sort of imitations on them because I think some fish might even spook away from those. Instead, I look for softer and smaller kind of crayfish patterns. So this Mardi Gras pattern that we've been fishing from MFC for a few years has been dynamite. It doesn't have the big claws on it, but it has a dead ringer swimming crayfish kind of action that I think is just absolutely money. We've got a lot of big fish on these. And they come in a bunch of different colors too. So crayfish will often take the colors of their surroundings. I would have a few colors on you at all times, between like an olive, an orange, a tan, just to match it to whatever you're seeing in the water, because those bass will clue in on different colors of crayfish. But always have some kind of crayfish in the box there. And then lastly, leeches. Leeches are super, super important. One of the absolute biggest crazes in the conventional world over the last few years, if you fish gear, you've probably seen it, has been marabou jigs. These aren't exactly new, they've been around for some time, but people have really been clicking into how effective they are. A marabou jig really is a fly at the end of the day, and this flare jig from Rio is very, very similar to the black marabou jigs that a lot of the tournament bass anglers are fishing these days. It is just a really fluffy, soft, fly that you can kind of fish slow, you can fish fast. It works in a lot of different situations. When those fish are being a little bit more technical, when they aren't being super aggressive, floating just a black marabou fly down in front of them can be a really effective way to get them to turn on it. I generally fish these on lighter line as well, so like an 8-pound fluorocarbon or something like that. It's a great finesse fly. You can either fish these stripped just steady like swimming leech, or let them just sort of drop onto bottom like you're fishing a jig. Both ways are deadly effective. So we hope you get out there, fish for some bass this summer. It's a lot of fun. As always, if you want to come into the shop, we're happy to chat tactics with you and get you onto the fish. We'll see you out there.